going on, everybody? Stubbs here from Retro Handhelds, here with the whole crew for CES 2024 in Las Vegas, Nevada. We have Russ from Retro Game Corps.
Hello.
We have our writing team here. We have Raven and Rocket. We have Mr. Aish, as you know. We have Joey from Joey's Retro Handhelds.
Hello.
Rob, the Retro Tech Dad. And of course, Zoo from Zoo Reviews. It's a hot shirt, I like that.
He doesn't know what camera to look into.
There's nowhere to go.
It's this one. We'll edit it. So we got a bunch of stuff to cover. We're going to talk about the most exciting things we saw at the show, even our favorite swag, and then what handhelds we brought and why. So, Aish, starting with you, what was your favorite thing you saw at CES?
There was a lot we saw at CES, but I think the most exciting thing was the Claw. Just having a new competitor come into the field and bringing something different, Intel.
Yeah.
We're still not sure exactly what the actual price scheme is going to be. They've said $699, which sounds really good, but they also said they might have two. Well, actually, no, they're going to have two processors. So we're not sure if it's going to be $699 for the lower end, only going from there. But at least me, I wasn't too sure about what to think of it. So some of the things I've read and heard kind of didn't have me too excited. But actually talking to them, talking about the battery life, actually getting to hold it even though they weren't finished units really kind of changed the way I was looking at it. So I am excited to see what they do with it. It's obviously not done yet, so I think you were the first one to say like, yeah, we'll hold off our opinion, and I agree with that completely.
Yeah, it was a prototype unit. It's not finished. And so we'll have more thoughts. My first thoughts on it were just, I didn't love the shoulders, but I really appreciated the form factor, the ergonomics, the roundedness of the edges.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the texture is final, but I really like that matte texture that they had. It was really nice.
Yeah, so they said that the plastics of that were taken from their laptops. You know, because I wondered that. I'm like, this is your first handheld. How did you figure out the plastics?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, we're just basically using all the things we learned when we made all our laptops.
Okay. So, it felt very nice in the hand. It really, just for a prototype, it felt almost complete. There are some things I didn't care for, like Aish was saying, the shoulder blades and the stubs, that was a little bit off to me.
Yeah.
I know. We'll see how the final units look.
No, the biggest difference to me was they said when I was holding it, he's like, "Do you think it's heavier or lighter than the ROG Ally?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh, this is definitely lighter." And he goes, "Yeah, it's 60 grams heavier than the Ally. Definitely doesn't feel that way, but the comfort, the ergonomics, it felt great. That's what performance-wise we'll figure out later. But the actual handheld, minus the shoulders, I think."
Yeah, weight-wise, it is about the same as the Steam Deck, but it doesn't feel like a Steam Deck to me.
Yeah.
No.
The only other criticism I had were the analog sticks. They felt a little bit light, like they were kind of flicky, and so that's something I'm not sure if I'm going to like it or not.
Yeah,
It's very easy to use, but it was light.
I would say just like first impressions, the Ally analog sticks were definitely a lot better in terms of just because they had texture around it. It just felt better in the hands versus what MSI was doing with theirs. So I think.
Have you ever used those aftermarket like Joy-Cons that have the smooth tops? That's exactly what that felt like to me. Yeah, just a little bit looser. Like
I didn't care for it.
The good thing is immediately after that we got to go and hold the Legion Go, the Ally, and the Steam Deck again, which I think was really good because it kind of, at least personally, helped me appreciate how comfortable it actually felt. But right off the bat, we're like, it's just not finished. Like, you hold the Ally.
It was funny though because it was that booth, the AMD booth, was right across from MSI, so we were able to like hold all those handhelds and really get a good comparison, just kind of get an idea of how it felt. So
and it's interesting that the Ally, it feels a bit more premium in scope, but it not like the MSI felt bad, but like the Ally just felt better built in a way.
Yeah.
We'll see when it's finished.
Despite like a lot of the mistakes, I think ASUS actually did a decent job with their first attempt. I really feel that way. I think the Ally still is really up there in terms of just the big name OEMs,
And actually on the last part of that comparison is the one thing they did change on the MSI is the airflow.
Yes, I was comment about that,
The SD card issue, because it's in the exact same spot.
Huge vent.
It's the whole vent.
But they even said the airflows go a separate way. So
And they have a vapor chamber in the center, which take all that heat in and before.
And apparently they rerouted the micro SD, so they are aware of that issue that the Ally had. So hopefully we won't see any micro SD issues with that. So hopefully,
So my only real concern with it right now is the price point. They're saying $699, but with two SKUs, we know one's going to be less performant.
Right.
They might be falling to the same type Asus did with the Z1, the Z1 Extreme.
Right.
And it might be that same situation because I'm looking up the specs and the Core 5 versus the Core 7. big difference in performance.
Yeah.
Like it, so
And that's the huge unknown is this is the first Intel handheld
Right.
PC chip
Yes.
from a major manufacturer.
Yes.
And so who knows how
Yeah.
this is going to perform.
Yeah.
A lot of people are speculating that it's not going to be able to play at low TDP wattages. And even they weren't really clear on that either. You know, they said, oh, it'll go to 15 watts. We're like, what about under that? You know,
Yeah, we asked them.
It doesn't.
We'll have to ask the engineer. I'm like, you're going to ask the engineer if you go under 15 watts?
I asked him
Right.
directly, and he said, "Well, I was like, how when you're in handheld mode, what TDP were you guys using?" He's like, "Well, 35, but we used 25 too," and he wouldn't go under that.
Right.
So I asked him, "What was the battery life when you guys were testing that?" He said, "We were in full mode and handheld mode. I think he said 35 watt
Yeah.
with Forza 5." And he said, and it was around 2 hours. So I'm guessing it's closer to like the hour and a half.
It has to be.
Yeah, but
what were your first impressions of gameplay?
Yeah.
Because they had Assassin's Creed
Oh,
Mirage on there.
at this point, I don't
Yeah.
think it's even fair to make a comment on
Yeah,
the gameplay
okay.
itself because
Okay.
the drivers
Yeah.
just aren't there. Like,
Okay.
We're early game on it.
yeah, because we were
Yeah.
playing Assassin's Creed Mirage, and that actually performed better than the Sonic game we were playing. And that's just a 2D
The Sonic game was
Yeah.
that
So
was-
it's just a
was
driver
surprising.
thing. I don't think it would be fair for us to say like, oh, she's not going to play right or anything like that. 'Cause
Yeah,
we don't know yet. The drivers just aren't there.
It was interesting. They had those things on all day
Yeah.
with that game running, plugged in,
Yep.
and they weren't cold.
No.
No, but they weren't hot.
They
were not
weren't
hot.
hot.
They were just like-
Something's going on with that fan. It's
Temps were good.
working.
Temps were good because the whole
Yes.
back is a vent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fan on
the
this was great,
exhaust, the entire top portion on the top is
Yeah.
well exhaust and intake. It's just huge. I mean, it's the whole thing.
It's like that Mad Catz controller with a fan. It was great.
You can see they copied the Ally, but they made improvements. So
they did.
it's not an exact copy, but
Yeah.
It's like an Ally with like a steam up bump in the back.
yeah.
But yeah, we have had handhelds like the Win 3 and the Win Max that had the older Intel chips, the 1065 G7, the 1165. But that was Iris graphics and then XE graphics. This is the first time we're getting now their new ARC architecture.
Which I'm really curious to see how it performs.
Yeah,
benchmarking
performance,
it,
but
I'm pretty
especially
excited
like
to
you were
see
saying,
different-
drivers.
Yeah.
I think that's the best part is that this is a handheld that like we don't know, so we can start testing it separately.
Yeah.
Everything else that we're like, oh yeah, just go look at other videos.
Right.
78.
That was the issue with the Legion Go. It was the same problem. Like, we kind of knew what the Z1 Extreme could do, so it was just like, okay, this is what it does, and just move on from there.
Buttons.
But it's all good.
Buttons felt good.
No, I mean with the Legion Go, our principle was like buttons.
I'm not even gonna get into buttons. My wife makes fun of me all the time the way I say it with my Brooklyn accent. Buttons.
Buttons.
So I will say too, with the MSI handheld, the face buttons were pretty good. They didn't have a lot of play to them, like the way that the Ally does.
Yeah,
So
it
it's
doesn't
a
sound
little tighter.
paddly, basically.
Yeah.
It was very helpful too, because a lot of them, and MSI too, they had a couple that were like bike chained to the stand.
Yeah, we can walk
But then they
Yes,
had
yes,
a
I
couple
like
where
that.
they were
I
just
like
loose, and they were like, "Here, hold this."
Yeah.
And of course, Stubbs was spinning it.
And then they
Everyone
watched
got
you like,
panicked. But just holding it on its own, that's where you get that sense of like, oh, this is like balanced.
The one thing that didn't feel good though, that drove me a little batty, was the M1 and M2 buttons.
They were like spikes, which is weird.
They were
You
not
didn't even like the spikes,
comfortable.
but
They were too.
They were in an awkward
it was the position.
They were kind
Yeah,
of
it was the
like-
position.
I didn't. Yeah,
They didn't fully depress either, which was.
Yeah.
I know it's a prototype.
No, I know.
Not only that, but the plastic was. It felt like it'd be prone to fingerprints, but they said it's not a finished plastic either.
Yeah.
So.
Like, just comparing the difference between the Ally and the Claw, I never liked the Ally's back buttons, but now comparing them to, I'm like, they're actually better than what was on the Claw.
They
for
at least
sure.
get out of the way.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
It makes
yeah,
me feel-
exactly.
feel like they did.
They were
Because
just
they're right
in
on
a really
your,
weird
they're in your
position.
middle fingers, and you're holding the device like that, and it's like, why are they here at this spot?
The human hand hold this thing because it's not in a position that works.
Right.
Like what?
But otherwise, I think the Claw is probably the most interesting thing that I've seen. I know it's Aish's topic, but
Yeah,
yeah.
It's all our topics.
But it
Pretty
was
much.
comfortable, ergonomic, which is what I like. And
Yeah.
if they can meet the battery claims that they're proposing, I guess, then that's interesting to me.
We'll see. Intel chips versus AMD. AMD's always been way more power
And
efficient.
then yeah, again, the AMD booth was literally across the way from MSI.
So we can just
All
do
this
direct
Intel
comparisons.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was good. Well, I mean, we went to Vegas mainly for the Claw. Like that was like the big highlight of the event, right?
For sure.
Maybe
So-
for you.
Oh,
So,
Oh yes.
I wanted to see my arcade.
did you find what you're looking for at my
I did
arcade?
not. They do have a Steam Deck competitor.
Right? Yeah. Well, I mean, we could talk about that. The Atari. So they're making an Atari 16 by 9 7-inch handheld. It looked interesting. We didn't get hands on with it. It was behind glass.
I think
Shem
we
is
got a
very
tweet
excited
out
about it.
Yeah.
He's really excited.
Shem, yeah. So
Yeah.
Retro Breeze is
Retro
honestly
Breeze, yeah.
stoked on it,
Yep.
and I know Dan from our crew was looking forward to that. Do you guys have any thoughts?
It has a number pad.
There's a numpad.
Yeah, trackpad,
Yep.
pad.
It has an SD.
And a
SD
paddle controller as well on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're a Breakout fan, Arkanoid, like that's cool. Just sitting there spinning it like.
Officially,
Yeah.
Mario Arcade says you can get the games online.
Wait, really? So
Yeah, sales rep sort of hinted like, you know, you can go on the internet and add
you're
more
tech
games
savvy,
to it.
you know.
you can find it.
Where would you
Find
find
these
these
games.
games?
I want someone to put golden tea on it.
Community Rome, community gnomes
Can you
right for the shot.
imagine golden tea on that thing?
All day,
mean like-
lawnmower.
It'd be more like this. No, it'd be more like that because it was like that.
I say
Well,
golden tea.
I've never gotten to play E.T. the Extraterrestrial in 16:9 before, so this is
Here's your chance.
This is my moment for that.
Actually, speaking of 16 by 9,
What should be
Wait,
I truly understand why it crashed the video game.
Wait a minute, was the original 2600 in 16:9?
No.
No, it's not. No.
I didn't think so. I'm just wondering why did they make it that ratio?
Yeah. The screens are cheap. That's the only reason why they're readily available and
Are
they're
we gonna
cheap.
cheap direction Atari?
Yeah, probably.
You're gonna have ET be as wide as it's ever been. Like
Yeah.
Since we're on 16 by 9 topic, Russ and I went to go to Hyperkin to go see the Mega 95.
That
I think
Sega
it's called,
thing?
the
Yeah, it's like a nomad. basically.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just saw it.
Cartridges.
Which was interesting because
Yeah.
the D-pad, the RG Arc is better D-pad
Yeah.
wise, and it was a 16 by 9 stretched Sega Genesis games
Right.
or Sega games.
Yeah, they're stretching them out, and I didn't see any configuration options.
No,
You just
no.
put it-
Why?
Here's your Genesis
Such
games, what works.
bizarre
You know?
choices.
Why?
this Superboy would be like a good indication of what Hyperkin's gonna pretty much do with
That's
that
they
version.
had that. That was cool. I've never seen one of those
That
before.
thing is
Well,
no.
I wasn't running to that booth. I'll say that.
Right.
But it's interesting and it's cool.
Yeah.
They're still
We
making
were-
ways to play physical games.
I know we were disappointed though. We wanted to see it. We made the whole trek over to take a look at it, and it
Well,
was,
little-
it's a private booth,
It's
so
a
we
little
couldn't see it.
kind of fun anecdote. I don't know if
Yeah.
Oh, Russ and I found it.
Yeah, so we just kind of walked in. It was in a hotel room, like
Yeah.
a private suite, and so we walked in, and yeah, we interrupted their meeting with IGN. Like, and it's like, hey, hi, we didn't know we needed an invitation, and they were cool. They let us come in anyway and look at their stuff and whatnot.
I still think you should have just gone into a video. Like,
Yeah.
hey, Russ, we're being for
Like, hey, we're YouTubers. Yeah, come check this out. That was awesome.
Forget this website.
Yeah,
We want to talk
exactly.
about us.
we were also in what was it? I think it was the MSI or the Asus booth walking around. We're like, I know that guy. Linus Tech Tips was there too,
Yeah. Yes.
covering all their stuff. I'm like, right, that's crazy. All these outlets are here.
Yeah. We saw. Well, I recognized iJustine, so she's a big Apple.
I just
person.
seen.
Yeah,
Rob was real excited about that.
He was. I have no idea who that was.
Cool, yeah.
Yeah. Oh well, Zoo and I met a football player.
Yes, Brian Bosworth.
Brian Bosworth. Now this is the best. I shook his hand, took a picture. I didn't know who that was. He played for the Seahawks, I guess, and did Dr. Pepper commercials. Really cool. And a movie.
Still does Dr. Pepper.
Really?
He's the sheriff in the Dr. Pepper commercials for fans.
He was a very nice man. He had a strong handshake. And next, Zoo was all giddy. He was like, "Oh, it's my hero. This is my idol."
Not my hero, not my idol.
Well, he walks up, and I was like, I look down and I see some gold reflecting, and I was like, "Oh, Zoo, his flies down." I'm like, "Zoo, your flies down." He's like, "No, it's not." And he goes up, shake his hand in front of hundreds of people. Cameras are on. He's like, "Oh no!"
Hanging dong.
We got the best picture that will be displayed on the screen right
Put that on the screen,
now.
man.
And it was hilarious. I was dying laughing. And Brian was good natured about it.
Appreciated it. He didn't tell me to leave.
He didn't tell you to leave.
I'm just giving the people what they want.
Right.
I can't believe I missed it because you guys, we were together going to a destination, then you guys got distracted for the 1,000th time, and we were just like, we're going to continue to our destination. I think it was me and Rocket, and we missed that. That's what happened.
I don't know how long it had been down. That's what worries me. Because how many distributors and vendors did we meet?
Well, you
We
were
had an experience with you, Green, that
The lady
they were just giving us stuff.
She was
They're
like, "Hey,
please
take these bags."
He was trying to get rid of Zoom.
Yeah, you were just walking around and asking questions from every booth, saying, hey, what's your favorite video game? I don't know how many booths we visited with Zoo asking this question. While
Quite a few. Quite a few.
Well,
My
we'll never
favorite
know
video
for sure.
game is Zipper Quest.
and we played that on day one, so we mastered Zipper Quest. Okay, so I'm glad we got through that.
100%.
That was
achievement on that.
Yeah, we got the ultimate retro achievement. So the claw, that was interesting. Thank you, sir. Russ, what was your favorite item?
So we stopped by GameSir, and it's interesting how much they've grown up over the past year. Last year we went and they were like in this section of all these like Chinese manufacturers, like Amazon retailers, like just like kind of in the back. And now they were on the full like convention center like floor, and just a lot better display setup. And they've got a couple new products coming out, and one is called the X2S, and so it's supposed to kind of be modeled after the 3DS or 2DS, so that's why the naming is like that. And it's a telescopic controller, more squarish like their old X2. It has the USB port on the left side, which is something that's actually good for like flip phones, and so that's awesome.
Surface Duo.
And then they've improved the D-pad, the face buttons. It has analog triggers now, and it still has that squarish design, which I like because when you put it in a phone, it actually feels like a console as opposed to the other ones, which are just kind of hanging. You can kind of squeeze them and move them around. And
Yeah, and the Stubbs tested it out with his folding, and it's awesome.
Fold phones.
And the coolest thing too is that it a lot of people will mod an X2. They'll cut these pieces of plastic so they can pull it beyond what it's supposed to and stretch the springs. This one just breaks automatically, so you can like the CEO did it in front of us. He's like, look, and it can do this, and like
It was terrifying for a half second. I thought it just destroyed his production.
Look at this.
Yeah, and so he snapped it, and we put like Aish put his full iPad on there. It was
It was the coolest thing ever. He was just like,
and so a full tablet can go on there as well, and so that was
So we had Aish's iPad Pro on there, and
11 inch.
just-
It's
yeah,
11 inch.
I mean,
So 11 inch confirmed. I was hoping that would stretch to 14 inch for like a
said he could go
Samsung
up to
Ultra.
12
12 inch.
He told me you can go.
14 inch.
Well, Retro Breeze had a 14 inch.
I was hoping it was past to 33 inches to fit my TV.
No, so you
when I first saw him snap it in half and stretch it, I was like, Shenna's gonna have a field day with this. He's gonna be so giddy about it.
No, he was telling me you could actually stretch it out more, and when I did it, there was still a good amount of play.
There was enough.
There was
leeway
just
in
no
there.
real need to go any further.
And it was still tight. It was still solid.
Yeah, because you remember
Even though
we're
it
talking
stretched
about 11 inches diagonally. So
Right.
even if it's 12 inches, doesn't mean it's going to be that much longer.
it's not another inch.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I personally, that was probably one of my favorite moments.
It's exciting because I think a lot of people do want to use their tablets for on those external controllers, and now we have a really good viable option for that. And GameSir is obviously paying attention. They're looking at their product lineup and seeing how they can hit those different targets. So that's a good thing to see.
Yeah. I would say the G8, their Galileo, which I reviewed a couple months ago, it's really great.
Controller,
But that's more like a console controller with your phone.
Yes.
Right? This one's more like turning your phone into a handheld, and so that has a different kind of feel to it.
Yeah.
And I know we were talking about sticks and buttons earlier. This had Hall. Does that both have
All
Hall
sticks and triggers.
and triggers?
Which is nice.
And
I
it's
think
like
is
$15.
that an improvement over
Yeah,
the
it's-
original X2?
Yeah.
So they didn't have a Hall sticks on the X2.
It's a big
that's
improvement over the X because I had the original one.
Yeah, I still have the original. I wasn't sure if it was Hall or not.
I still use the X2 because the sticks or the inputs on the left for my folded phone.
Yeah.
I just never liked how it felt. Like you were saying, like they've come a long way because if you grab that first X2
for sure.
and you
buttons.
just use that, no, just everything about it. It's hollow. You can literally hear how hollow it is when you're using it.
Yeah.
And the
Super
inputs,
clicky.
yeah,
Right.
it has those really like mouse click loud ones, and there's like just nothing satisfying about using it. So I kind of turned out to GameSir, and then we're there. I finally got to hold the Galileo. I see what they're doing with the new X2 and all of those, and yeah, it's a big improvement. They've come a long way.
They, we talked a lot with their CEO, which is rare for a lot of these companies, right? Usually we're talking to some sales rep.
Very pleasant.
And he is a gamer, like us. He's just like one of us. And
He
he's
was
just
so
like,
excited.
Yeah, he was excited about the way we are.
exactly.
Yeah, so that was
You can really tell the difference between the vendors and exhibitors there, like which ones were really passionate, really wanted to talk to us, and you could definitely see the difference.
Yeah.
We definitely had different experiences.
We
so it was
showed him
interesting.
And then there's Lenovo.
we showed him at the Retro 4 Pro, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I have that."
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, like he already has handhelds.
yeah, he does.
Yes.
That's great.
Yeah, he's like, I've had that for a while.
Yeah.
I know, guy.
He's like, oh, and I was like, oh, this is the 4 Pro. He's like, yeah, I got it.
He's like, oh, I already have this. a few booths were like, hey, I've already tested that. Yeah, we're
Which is great for me. That's one thing that I take away from it is this. It's not as niche anymore as we still think it is. Like it's getting out there now. People are realizing, hey, these things are out there, and it's not just oh, that's a Chinese handheld. No, it's just a handheld now. Yeah, that's what's exciting for me.
Yep.
No, the handheld market's huge. I mean, there's a lot of demand for this stuff. So.
MSI's in it now.
Yeah.
I was personally just blown away by GameSir's booth, not only because of that controller. They had a MFI Apple variant of the G8 Galileo with a new colorway with great buttons and all that. That was really nice. Yep. They had Khalid. They hooked up to an Xbox Series X.
The one with the lights.
With all the RGB. That was kind of fun. They had like these cool colorways of like light blue with red translucent buttons.
Well,
G7s.
Rocket found one that the D-pad was like an 8-way, and it was almost like a slider how it felt, but it was like I could use this like as a dedicated like on my Sega, my arcade games.
And it was D-pad up top.
It just
which one was that $25 controller they were showing us? That was really
good for 25.
Stadia.
Very impressed by that.
The Space Stadia style.
Yeah, they're coming after the 8-bit Ultimate controller. Is basically what they're trying to do, and they've got some like. It's good.
They feel really good.
They really do.
I was so impressed with their booth, the passion from Jeff and the team, and also from their CEO, who's apparently 18 years old, or was. That's what they have on their website.
He was.
He's not 18.
What is he, like 20 now?
We were all 18.
I mean, he's young.
At one point. But it was
Probably those when we were 18, though.
No,
they were so
incredible,
welcoming, friendly, like easy to talk to. You can see the passion in their eyes for this still. You know, like they just really had their eye on the door. I mean, we were talking about the G7, and they have these nubs basically, and they have these
Jeff's nubs.
Not Stubbs.
No, yeah, and I showed them. We talked about nubs, and like we tried these.
And he was so excited when he saw Stubbs nubs that he showed us this pack.
And he's like, "We got that. We're making this." And so they actually have their own like very tactile concave convex sticks, and then like these little nubbins that come up on this one. He's like, "No, it's for focus." I'm like, "Yes." For focus. We get it.
We don't simulate the Skull and Co ones where they have the different sizes and whatnot.
Right.
So it's nice to see that. I like having
I really say that one thing, like my favorite thing he said the whole time there is when we saw those Stadia looking controllers. I think that's the first thing you said. Like, oh, it's like a Stadia controller. And he said, yeah, I wasn't able to get one, so I just made my own. Yeah. I was like, okay, that's. I think we would all we could just say that. Like, well, there's nothing on the market that I like. I'm just gonna make my own.
Yeah.
That was the other thing. Like that $25 controller was mimicking the Stadia controller. And that's why I was just like, this feels nice. And he made improvements on the Stadia design and added some extra functionality to it. So I'm like, this is gonna be interesting for $25. I'm like very impressed by it.
I think what was good about them is that, and I'm not paid by them yet, but it was premium quality at a budget price.
Yes.
$25 for that, like I would say, okay, like 60.
Yeah.
Like that, it's a good controller.
It felt
they've got all the hookups, so it's going to be Bluetooth 2.4 gigahertz and wired. You know what I mean? So they're covering all the spectrum of what everyone needs, and so it's perfect.
And I'm kind of just blown away by what we're getting now at that price point.
Well, and just the contrast of that experience with GameSir, contrast is more corporate brands like the Razer booth. They have nothing this year, by the way. It was just nice to see the passion there.
Breath of fresh air.
It was a breath of fresh air.
It definitely was. Yeah.
And I like that. And so but not only that, proof is in the pudding. So all the products that were there is just, you can tell they've made generational improvements to all of their controllers. Everything. It's really nice. Not only that, so leaving there was good. And then the next day, we visited the Asus booth, which was one of my favorites from the show, was another telescopic controller, the Asus Tessen. This thing is similar to the backbone. It felt and looked like a backbone, but you could fold it in half.
Right.
And then it had Hall sticks, Hall triggers, had haptic feedback. I used it on my folding phone. What the heck that is. My Samsung Fold. Now, the input is on the right, but it still felt really good and balanced for a folding phone. I was playing, Grim Valor for Android in here, and I was like, yes, the buttons feel good, the clickiness feels good. Everything about that controller was hopping for me, and it fit phone cases.
Yeah.
So my case is on.
I'm super. That one I'm excited for because
I saw you take a
it
picture.
fit my S23 Ultra with the case.
Yeah.
But the actual controller feels good because
It does.
I mean, it's no secret now. The Game Vice Flex for me has been the best telescopic controller, and I've been looking for an alternative, and I don't like the backbone or any of the other ones.
Right.
This felt good. So the Asus Tessen, I guess that's what it's called. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be looking for that one.
It has a more triangular shape to it.
Yeah.
So it's really stick out.
A lot more ergonomic.
Sit better. And,
So it just feels like more comfortable to it. And
Had a nice
it's
texture
not
on
as
the side.
wobbly as the Kishi or the
Yeah, there's a reason for that too. I noticed. I was looking at the design, and in the center, it has like a little stand. So when your phone sits on it, it's supporting it from the middle as well. So you're not getting that wobble that you usually get in telescopic controllers. Which is
We took a video of it, I think, just
It's-
like throwing it around and it didn't move.
And the other thing it had was that neat trick where it folds down.
Yeah.
Right. It folds down to be as compact as possible, but also when you put your phone in it, you can fold it down, slide it in.
Yeah,
and bring it
that
out.
was the best
really
part.
easy.
I mean, that's it's so easy to just
Because putting
get
your
working.
phones into any of these controllers, it's like you're
Pain.
like
It's just like,
pulling back a bow and arrow.
can you imagine? Like if you're on the plane, you're elbow to elbow. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm just getting so excited because I mean now we have Asus with their own telescopic controller. I mean all these big names are now really stepping into this space, and so it's just the competition's a great thing to see.
And one of the things, maybe not for emulation, but
Yeah.
for Android gaming, he didn't have it ready for anyone's phone walk off the street. But on the phone that they have, they also
Oh
have
yes, that's right.
ROG Phone 8.
Phone 8, I think.
Yep.
It's just like on the fly screen button mapping. So
Yes.
like
Yes.
I'm going to
Yes.
put my stick to where this thing is, and it's just on the fly.
Easy.
Yeah, so Asus has their own gamepad mapping as well. So they were showing us Genshin, and I was playing it. It was great.
What I liked is that the USB-C port is still in the middle. How their phone has it on the side. So when I saw it, I thought, oh, it's just for their phone. So that would have been very limiting. But no, they put it in the middle. And it was funny seeing their phone sit in it because it's sitting like outside. And they're like, so they're like, no, this is for everybody. It's not just for if you buy our phone.
Which I like.
It has a big gasket too you can take off. So like if your
You
phone
mentioned
that. Right.
with a
Doesn't
case,
fit.
if you're not quite getting into the USB-C port, you just and then
A little known thing about this controller too is that it has power pass through.
That's what I was about to ask. Did anybody confirm that?
Yes.
Good.
That's nice.
Yes,
That's awesome.
it had USB-C power pass through up to I think 18
That's
watts.
essential.
18 watt fast charging
Did they
pass through.
mention launch time for that?
Launch time for the Tessen,
It's soon. Yeah. I think everything they were showing was like Q1-ish.
Quarter
Okay.
one.
Okay, yeah, I have to keep my eyes on that.
which do we ever mention that about the Claw?
Yeah,
Claw
the-
is
Yeah, a
also
little bit.
also quarter
Yeah,
one.
quarter one.
Yes.
Yeah. And then also we know about the X2S is
Soon, I think, very soon.
Yeah, he said it was soon too.
Yeah.
I don't think he gave us a
Yeah, he didn't give us any
He said it's very soon though.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Pretty
said
much everything we saw was coming out. Yeah. Like
just
most
about.
of
Just
the
about.
next-
Yeah.
Which makes sense that you have it at that expo.
yeah.
Good.
Yeah, because they have multiple ones throughout the year, so obviously you're going to want to show the stuff that's really coming out pretty soon. So I mean that makes sense.
Which I want to talk about the rumored handheld from GameSir, but we'll get into it. Also, so for the Tessen, that's really cool thing. They had AR glasses there that were pretty well done. I liked how like they had like a curved screen. It almost looked like it was immersive.
Yeah.
But it's too circular. I felt like on the eyeballs, and it popped out too far from your face. It's called the Air Vision M1.
The one thing I liked about those glasses is you could actually send the screens further out.
Yeah.
So like the Vitchers, I can't change where the screen is.
Right.
Right.
This one you can
Yeah. You can send the screen further out, so it's clearer.
It had diopters in the software.
Yeah, if you connected it to the computer, you could change the pupillary distance. I don't know how you do it.
On the Ally?
but-
They did that for me live. I would not recommend doing it live because I almost threw up. Like
They were like adjusting.
he was like adjusting, and my eyes were trying to track and focus, and I was doing it. I was like, "Whoa, this isn't good."
The cool thing is, if you are somebody that likes glasses like that for productivity, if you connect them to your PC, you can actually project 5 monitors.
Yeah,
Oh no, he
that
had
was
eight. He had eight.
Aish lost his mind.
it's like,
Holy
monitors.
screens everywhere.
looking everywhere. The screens everywhere.
So let me show you something real quick. And he just goes monitor, monitor. And the cool thing is that you can switch between monitor and monitor and then lock the mouse in that monitor.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about like, oh, I'm going all over the place.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And then Asus as well had this really comfortable chair that Rob was getting a kick out of.
Oh yeah, I almost fell asleep in it.
It was so yeah.
Joe filmed me
The
on
best in show chair. It's the best.
I was like, Joey, if I sit this any longer, I'm not getting up.
That was next to that keyboard, that cool keyboard, the low profile.
I like that keyboard. That was nice.
The Asus booth was cool.
It was.
Yeah. Actually, the one
They were really nice. They were pleasant to talk to. They wanted to show us products. So
the one other thing that Rob and I saw was the Duo Book.
Oh yes.
Where
that
it was,
like-
so it's a laptop like this, but it's another screen on top, and it just folds into each other.
And then
you could do it vertical too.
the keyboard portion, it pops out to reveal another tablet below it. And it's just,
That was
the design is
blew my mind.
Yeah.
beautiful. You close it, and it's really not much thicker than even like this surface right here. It was just wow.
Yeah.
You can, and they were showing like a timeline like from 2018, I guess.
Yeah, they showed all
They were
the,
showing like
how they got there.
Yep, and it's just like
Yeah.
this is
Asus
really,
was
really cool stuff.
Asus is definitely one of the better booths, I think, of the top tier.
I thought them and MSI were doing
MSI was
X86.
great.
MSI's booth was awesome.
MSI's really nice.
So cool.
Also very welcoming too. I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
Yep, I love that. And then Raven, your favorite. While we're on the topic of Asus, you had a favorite item there too, huh?
Yeah, Russ was talking to the rep and all that, we were kind of just wandering the hall and stuff like that. And one of their products that I've always kind of lusted after is the Asus Zephyrus G14. It's their sort of thin and light, compact, but it still has like their full fat gaming chips in it and all that.
Yeah.
And so this year they're overhauling it. We had one of the ladies come over, saw us looking at it. It was me and Rocket were there. They've huh?
No. The writing duo.
Oh yeah. But yeah, no, they took it used to be a plastic shell and it was always nice, but I mean they've now put it into an aluminum unibody shell.
Yep.
They swapped out from IPS to OLED on it. Like it's a really premium device now. It's
Now
pretty.
you
Yeah.
have me thinking. Is it OLED? How much?
Yeah.
Do you know the price yet?
I would imagine it'll probably be similar to their normal prices, and so if you're getting the mid-range one, it's normally somewhere in the 1,200 to 1,300 range. But I didn't ask.
So I had a really great conversation with their rep about their OLED displays and how on their laptops and basically how they do it, because they said it's not as simple as just putting OLED into a laptop.
Right.
Because you have to think about variable refresh rate and all those things, which can really mess up OLED, which is also probably why the Steam Deck OLED does not have variable refresh rate.
Yes.
It's so hard to pull up. They said that the amount of refreshing in the pixels they have to do in order to get the OLED to not flicker when it's in VRR is insane. And I can't remember the number he said, but they spent years engineering that, so now they have an OLED laptop. Like it's not a very trifle kind of thing to put in there. And so
Yeah.
it was really interesting that and it's weird because they don't ever talk about it, right? And they're like, kind of like, they get all this crap in the community. It's like, why can't you just put OLED in, right? Yeah. And it's like they're not good at defending themselves and saying why it is they're not doing this. And I kind of told them about that too. I'm like, it's like your SD card issue with the ROG Ally.
Right.
Like, they said, we'll tell you over beer sometimes, but it's fixed, right? That's basically what he said, right? So which means they did something, right?
fixed
It's not that they're ignoring the problem, but they just, and I don't know why they don't
should
just, like have the candor to be like, okay, this is the problem and this is how we solved it, but they just, I don't know why PR
The
wise.
community kind of found out through revisions how
Yes,
they fixed it. That it's good.
They were
Yeah,
noticing.
and now people are looking for certain revision numbers to get the Ally.
Get it.
And I wonder if it's a cultural thing. You know, it's a Chinese company, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe it's something where they don't want to acknowledge any faults.
Yeah.
And as a result, they just kind of ignore all that stuff and say it's better.
We're moving to the next phase.
It's a common corporate tactic. It's like if you don't address it, just fix it. Don't over talk about it. Most people will forget about it, and the average consumer isn't even going to think about it.
Right. Don't show weakness.
Exactly. Unfortunately, with us, it's like, well, we're pretty much in here, and if there's something wrong with it, we will go after it.
We will go after it.
But we're not their. We are their target, but we're not their main consumer. So for a lot of people, it's like if there's a big deal, let's say with the laptop, if there was something wrong with the refresh rate and it was messed up, and they address it, it's like the average consumer is going to think about it a lot more.
Yeah.
For them, it's like, no, we're just going to fix this, and nothing happened. It's all good.
Right. Yeah. So that OLED thing was a real good indication to me. I was like, man, there's all this work that they're doing behind the scenes, and no one gets to hear about it. It's kind of crazy.
So what you're telling me is we can't just put OLED in everything?
No, you can't.
Not in everything.
They had that super budget friendly foldable OLED monitor.
Oh my god.
With like he was talking about the amount of like revisions and engineering that went into it, and I felt bad because it's like the amount of people who are going to drop like $3-4 on a folding OLED monitor is probably infinitesimal.
Yeah.
But like the amount of work they put into it was had to be.
Well, it is now.
It's important though, because eventually the idea is that the average consumer will be able to afford this tech. Yeah, so this is a really important step in the whole process of doing that. So
Everyone else is going to copy
Those
it.
transparent OLED displays that we saw. The LG.
those were cool. Those were kind of cool. I mean, I know it's early on, but that was pretty cool.
We just think about how
So you can see the
expensive.
mount behind it.
Just think how expensive like DVD players used to be when they first came out.
Oh,
they were so expensive that Sony like built a gaming empire behind how expensive DVD players were. And
It was
now
the cheapest DVD player you get with the PS2.
Right.
That was part of its success. So
yeah, fast forward 10 years later, and DVD players were cheap. Same thing with this technology. Like right now, yeah, it's really expensive, but that just kind of brings it back to mind, like how expensive developing all these things are. Like we think, well, why can't they just do this? Well, there's a lot of money going in there.
there's a lot of R&D behind a lot of this stuff that we don't really realize about. Yeah.
It's not as good as CRT, but I'll take it.
Well, yeah, it was interesting, and Asus in general they had a lot of cool things. I actually liked a microphone from them a lot. Like they had this
Condenser mic.
condenser mic that was
And that was in that
white
setup where the chair
colorway with
was.
the RGB with the chair, and I was like, I'm not a big like Twitch streamer or anything, which I think is what it's geared for, but
Yeah.
that's a fun mic. I was like, oh, pretty colors. That's nice.
I'm curious how the audio is on it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
It'd be interesting.
we can get you some cat ears. You can put that mic in frame from now on.
Right.
Yeah, well, I'm excited to.
I think Stubbs would have a good ooh streaming.
I'm sorry. I just
Takes me a second.
picture you with cat ears.
He tried so hard to just move on, and then it caught him.
Oh, like some frog eyes.
Yeah.
Fry guys.
Well, Raven, thanks for sharing about that, about the G14.
Oh yeah, I'm so excited.
I want to hear more about it. You have one of those on the way from Asus for review, I heard.
Do it.
Yeah, well, that's
Oh,
that's the rumor on the street.
That was the whole conversation.
I really hope I do. Yeah, I would love to.
Yes, I
It's my dream
believe that the conversation was started to get that.
Okay. This is good news to hear.
Which is now as good a time as any to say that. So we're adding a section on our website for laptops and other tech and all that. And our second channel is going to be featuring just some other tech besides handhelds.
We'll get into all of that.
We'll chat at the end.
John was passionate.
We'll let you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Zoo, what was your favorite this year?
I liked our new friend Katie. She was at the Lenovo booth.
Yeah, she was running the booth over there.
She was originally standing by their wearable tech, which is just fancy fashion jackets you can put a tablet in. But I like where they're going with it, and we started chatting her up, and she really showed us a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, she did.
They have an M11. It's an 11-inch tablet. It goes for about $180. It has a MediaTek Helio G88. Now, word on the street is that's roughly comparable to Snapdragon 720.
Well, I heard it's just a little bit less performant though than what is it, KTR1?
Yeah,
The
G99.
Yeah.
But you have that super lightweight, right? Seafoam green colorway.
Yes, it weighs a pound.
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't. The thing is, it doesn't feel like it weighs a lot.
Yeah.
Distributed.
I mean, even Katie knows. I kept going right back to that tab. I was just like, man, this thing is just nice to hold. It's nice. It looks nice.
wanted to walk
The
out there with
screen was nice on it.
It's super thin, but they somehow managed to put a headphone jack in it. It's like in a
It had everything. I
didn't even
had
realize
stereo
at first.
speakers.
Yeah.
I mean, it
That
was
is yet
super nice.
another thing. Stubbs flipped and almost dropped.
Well, it was so
Everybody's butthole tightened.
It was, we got the rosebuds. Every time that I was sort of tossing the M11 around, because I just wanted to highlight how lightweight it is. Like it's so lightweight, but it's solid, so you can quickly grip, and it's grippy, so you can still grip it.
It has a nice metallic finish on it.
Did I ever drop it once? No. Did it ever hit the? Okay. Did it ever hit
There
the
was a
floor
concern
once?
that
There
would
was a
happen.
concern.
But-
Well, that was during the time when we were trying out their wearables.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about a smartwatch or something. They actually had clothing designed like a samurai outfit with
And an inflatable poncho.
cyberpunk.
Yeah, you were in a poncho.
In the poncho.
Bottoms and tops.
Yeah, it was.
You look good in the bikini.
See, I thought you looked great in the onesie personally, but
I can pull it.
Yeah, Zoo got dressed in apocalypse wear where he couldn't move his arm.
it was so good.
Something out of demolition.
It was good. The other thing about the tablet,
Yeah.
back on track, is that it works with the pen Aish can use to draw more pictures of me.
Yes, I can.
It has like 4,000 different pressure sensitivities for all your.
Wow.
And then it had that grayscale thing. What do they call it? Immersive reading mode.
Yeah, reading mode, yeah.
It turns everything grayscale. So
It looks
if
like
you're
a Kindle.
If you're going to do PDFs on
Yeah.
it, it's just like get all that glare out of the way and just focus on the
Yeah,
document.
it's cool.
It's funny because $180 is not
$180
bad for a
no.
gaming tablet,
No,
right? To be able to play through, you could probably play a good chunk of GameCube and PS2. But the thing is, a tablet can do so many other tablet things.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like you buy one of these things, you're going to play games on it. Yeah, you could stream a movie on it. It's a little awkward, right? But on a tablet, it's like a thing that can do all those things and then also play games.
And then we were talking, going back with the GameSir.
I was just going to say that.
Put that in sideways. Get portrait mode, not landscape. You got yourself a giant 3DS display.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, the good thing about the price too is the Amazon Fire tablets are not that much less, and those
Right.
can't do anything.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what I was gonna say.
And lockdown, like
It's a good
yeah.
budget gaming tablet.
There's like a wave of G99 tablets going on right now for about 150.
I noticed that,
Well,
yes.
and once you order them, it's going to be a little bit more.
Right.
But the difference here is you're getting a similar price, but besides that, it's slightly less performant, but you're getting Lenovo's quality.
That's the difference. You can order on Amazon, you can buy it in a store, you have the support from them, warranty, all that. So
It has Android 13 on it now.
Yeah.
They have pledged all the way through 15.
I saw that,
And
yeah.
they said they're going to do over their updates until 2028.
Yeah, that's pretty
That's
So
crazy support
yeah.
behind a $180 product.
Well,
Yeah.
Lenovo's always had long support from their corporate ThinkPad line.
Right.
And so now seeing that in the consumer stuff is really cool.
Yeah, try
to-
buying a tablet on AliExpress.
Right. Yeah. What's your warranty?
It's good seeing companies that are supporting Android though.
Yeah.
Like there's
I think that's
just
been a
to get
big
hands.
thing right now with a
Yeah.
big push with that. Yeah, the support for Android has been a big thing. People really want to see more support because Apple's been doing it. So now Google products are starting to do it too.
Well, Google said for like the Pixel 6 line, so you're gonna get 6 years of support.
Yeah,
That's a long life for a
that's
phone.
that's really good. Yeah.
For Lenovo, unless you still on the tablet part.
Well, I was just going to talk about Katie.
She was.
So moving.
Well, her favorite. What was her favorite game?
Well, that's the thing.
Sure,
That's
good
the
choice.
thing.
Yeah.
Katie is hashtag one of us.
Yeah.
She has her Go, and she plays Stardew Valley on it.
She's her
And
leash to go to play.
She was like embarrassed. I was like, no, we do Game of the Month. People do Game Boy games on their Steam Deck. Like it's a thing.
Yeah, she was gonna
Join the
She
Discord.
was joining her game of the
Are you
month.
kidding?
She wants to
Stardew
play.
Valley on that
Yeah,
Legion Go.
on the Legion Go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
amazing.
You see a
Great
lot.
screen on
see a
there. Yeah.
lot.
We're like,
Yeah.
we all do that. Like we all use our big, expensive, toys to emulate Mario 3.
He was playing Pokemon Blue on the Steam Deck earlier.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's right.
because you get longer battery life. If you're
us. One of
drop that TDP down, play for hours
Actually, I don't think you have to drop the TDP down for Game Boy anymore. You just let it do its thing.
because the chip will just
It won't even
really
It won't even feed
trust the technology.
So the way I understand
That's the
TDP
first
is
step
like
to the
even
AI
with a cap.
apocalypse.
It doesn't mean it's gonna. Let's say you set out like 10. It doesn't mean it's gonna pull 10
Right,
the whole time.
exactly,
That's
right.
just a cap. Like you're just
Yeah.
not letting it go above that.
Yeah.
It depends on the game, really.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It's like Hades will go
Yeah,
no matter
Hades
what.
doesn't care.
Yeah, it'll just
Right.
take it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
The coolest thing on Lenovo besides the tablet was the hybrid. The Android
Yes.
tablet goes and docks
That was
into a
cool, yeah.
keyboard that's Windows.
Yeah.
And it just swaps automatically.
It just becomes the monitor, and then when
Yeah.
you attach it, now it's in Android.
Yeah.
mode.
That was super cool. Very expensive at $2,000.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Joey and I, we were both really excited about it, but then we saw the price and we're like,
But it makes, if you look at the specs, it makes sense because you have a Snapdragon Gen 1 and then you have
devices.
whatever it was. And it's like, it's
it
it's
had
separate systems.
art, yeah, it had art graphics in
Yeah.
the base part of it, the keyboard part. I'm just like, yeah, so I get it. There's a lot of tech packed to this thing. It's a very cool idea.
And you can share storage between the two. Like that's, yeah.
There's a lot of cool ideas.
The device
You know,
was called the ThinkBook, by the way.
Okay.
I think look,
This is going to be geared more towards like enterprise and things like that.
Yeah.
Well, it goes back to the OLED thing we were talking
Yeah.
about. It's, like, it's expensive now,
Right,
but somebody, okay,
right.
now it's out. It's been made.
Yeah.
Somebody else can grab it, look at it. Oh, this is how it's made. All right, we're probably going to see it. Maybe not this year.
Yeah.
I mean, next year or the year after, start seeing become more common because most people have this pairing. They have a phone and they have a computer.
Yeah.
And not
you get
everybody.
the best of both.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. So, like, I mean, knowing that it's $2,000, the funny thing is, if you look around Lenovo's booth, you can honestly get the tablet that Zoo was talking about, and then get one of their laptops, and you'll still be at less than $2,000. And so, it's not quite there. The price has to come down for it to be really viable. I think,
But I mean, yeah, I think also have to say though, Why?
The use case?
Yeah.
No, there's definitely use case.
I could see it.
Because they
I can see it
because they
too. I can see it too.
Like, I don't know, like, it's
No, I can
cool.
see it.
Yeah,
Well, someone said like the Windows for productivity, and then you take it out, and then you get it for entertainment.
Yeah.
It still doesn't
Or
have
like showing a
I'm-
presentation or something
Yeah.
like that.
I mean, I could see a lot of use cases for it. Yeah,
We have the
I guess it just
Trying Jurassic Park Lenovo today.
No.
So if you think about it from an
That's
emulation
cool.
standpoint, right? Their
Yeah.
emulators work better on Windows and Android and vice versa, right? So you can play CMU on the Windows side,
Yeah.
pull off the tablet and play your SX2 or whatever.
When I was standing in front of it,
Drop
that's
it in
what I was thinking.
X2S.
Yeah.
So you got every emulator covered at that point.
Here's the other thing too. If you were to buy a comparable laptop and a tablet, how much would you be spending? So now that extra couple
true.
hundred,
They had some nice laptops that were probably around the $1,000 price point.
Yeah.
And then with Zoo's really cool tablet that was under $200,
yeah, but that's
$1,200,
a G88 versus an HN1.
True.
If you were to buy a comparable tablet,
That's
you're gonna spend a few hundred.
Well, carrying around something like this, like a 12-inch Windows laptop, it would be cool to be able to pop that off.
So it is expensive, but if you actually look at the price of both things, it's a few $100s more, which that's something that's eventually going to go down in price, and it's going to make a lot more sense.
Well, some of the stuff they had, it was like very clear that it was like that whole innovation.
Yeah.
we're gonna
Yes.
stream.
Yeah.
They had this series of
The magnets.
accessories that we
Yeah.
clip on with magnets.
Magnet
And it wasn't wireless. It was there were magnets and pins.
very, very
That was cool.
I'm gonna put a new 4K camera.
Yeah, it was
Right, and it had an SSD.
Yeah,
SSD on there.
It needs more storage.
And a second monitor.
Yeah.
you pop on, which
It
we were
was
talking about doing that, maybe a portrait one that went on the side, but I thought up top was pretty cool.
And then the super dystopian little robot buddy. Hey, when you're stuck in
Smiles at
your
you.
gray cubicle all day, he'll
encourages
smile at you, encourage you. It's so dystopian.
And they were asking for ideas. They're like, what else could we do with this? They were asking.
I saw their concepts. They had one for aromatherapy.
Yes.
And I put smells on it.
The one weird thing about Lenovo that they were missing was the Go.
Yeah, it wasn't at their
There was
booth.
no,
Yeah.
there was no go. Because
We saw more of the Go at other booths than we did at Lenovo's.
no. He noticed the stuff they had. There was only stuff that was launching this year, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Katie said almost everything should be launching around April.
Really?
And then Jeff when he
Can I
let
get my
off-
poncho?
Well, the poncho is the only one that's available
Yes.
to purchase. I don't think they're going to send us a review unit of the poncho.
We checked.
Yeah.
But everything should be going at least the end of quarter one, quarter two.
Okay.
And I think the reason they didn't have the Go there was because
That might make
they
sense.
already launched it.
Yeah.
Everything there was
Yeah.
debuted
It just-
earlier.
Yeah.
The thing is, Lenovo moves so fast with their products.
Yeah.
I mean, after April, they're going to have a next wave of products coming out. So they kind of move along.
They offered us hard-boiled eggs right when we walked in, and I knew things were getting off on the
And
right
San
foot.
Pellegrino, too.
Yeah, it was
They gave us good stuff.
it was tasty.
We did get some hints on the Go though. They are working on accessories for it
Yeah.
and possible colorways, and they were tight-lipped about
Yeah, they were.
other parts of it, like the
Right.
replacement Go Cons or whatever.
He did say
Yeah.
nothing that I can tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
basically.
So that's
Which is always a
more loaded than
Yeah.
just saying no. We're
Yeah.
not.
But we did find out other information from somebody else, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that was cool. And on the topic of tablets, Rob,
Yeah.
what was your favorite?
So the Minisforum booth for me was, they just had such mind-blowing tech there. I was just, but in particular, they had this kind of, there was like a 3-in-1 that they called it. It was a hybrid tablet where it kind of, the screen just comes right off, and then you can use it as a tablet, dock it, it's a laptop, but also it was also able to be as a portable monitor too, which I thought was the coolest thing.
Right.
So it had multiple uses, but it was also backed by the latest AMD processors. Just a lot of tech packed in this thing. It was like 2 pounds, I believe. They said. Yeah, so it was really impressive. Just thinking about all the cool use cases, maybe putting that GameSir on it or something, and having like a powerhouse Windows tablet.
I know a lot of people want to talk about like, oh, it's kind of like a Surface tablet, but I kept thinking this is a Windows iPad, basically.
Yep.
It has
Yes.
a whole ecosystem
Yes.
to it,
Yes.
you know. And that video in is amazing. I've never heard of a tablet that has both video out and video in, so you can use it for anything. You know what I mean? It's kind of amazing.
Like when I do like some videos, I'll use a portable monitor, and now I have a portable monitor with me, and it's like this is a really overlooked feature, but it's like, wow, that makes a lot of sense. Let's make use of this display. It's a great display. The build quality is really nice. It had a kickstand, right? Or no, it was a keyboard. It was like a magnetic keyboard that they were using. So it was very much like an Apple style kind of setup that they had. It looked really elegant, like something that like Microsoft would be putting out in the Surface lineup.
The specs were it was
specs
just a beast. And we can't talk
it
about
was-
the AMD chip it has, but the other specs were huge.
But really thin,
It's a new
light.
Zen 4 based one, right?
Yes. We just know that it's the latest Ryzen. That's what they said. So we don't know specifically
So
which
new, it's not
number
even
it
out
is.
yet.
Yeah.
So 32 gigs of RAM in the initial spec.
It was 1 terabyte
storage.
Yeah.
The keyboard manufacturer that made there is the same person that makes the Apple keyboard.
Yeah, that's what they were
So it's
saying.
like they full on. They're not cutting any corners.
It was a 1440p screen, 60 by 10.
Yep.
It was beautiful. Yeah. Oh, it also had pen support too.
Pen support.
Yes, it had a pencil. They had a pencil that was magnetic. It would just attach like it does on an Apple, and it was just
4
kind of
RAM
impressive.
slots, so theoretically you go up to
Yeah.
128 gigs of RAM.
50 watt hour battery, 28
watt
watt
battery.
TDP.
Yeah.
Yep.
So everyone's
It's
talking
just a
about
beast.
the Lenovo Legion Go. That's kind of
Right.
like it's a tablet
Right.
computer that has
Right.
controllers on it, right? This is a tablet computer, much bigger, thinner. Like,
I feel like there's more use cases for something like what the Minisforum is doing. And then again, if you just happen to have your GameSir with you, okay, cool, I want to do some gaming. And you can just do that, and it's like, you're good to go. But that's something I can actually use for productivity. It has a usable keyboard, it has a nice screen, you can use a portable monitor option. I mean, there's just so much going on here.
GPU on it.
14 inches, right?
It's a 14-inch display. Yeah.
Well, it answers the
Two kinds
question
of
I always had, which is why can't I just dock my Switch to my laptop?
Right.
Now I can.
I know that.
Yeah, that was
That's what I'm saying. Like that portable monitor option is just mind blowing because let's say you bring even this, just bring the RP4 with you, and you have video out on it. But hey, all of a sudden you have this larger screen now when you're traveling. I mean that's just amazing.
it's got a 50 watt hour battery, so it's
It
should a decent battery for that kind of thing. You think about like the Lenovo and the ROG Ally and whatnot. Yeah, it's a competitive battery size.
Yeah,
We asked them about possibly putting like about a zero on it or something like that, and they're like, you can do that.
But they had other stuff too. They had a little BBC.
Yeah,
that was 7040. It was like packed into like a space.
Everything they had was awesome.
It was
and the CEO was passionate and just so excited.
We're showing everybody these things.
so they have a 7840 UPC that's basically 2 of these, so it's this size.
Yeah,
It's pocketable. It's a
It's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
Yes.
Craziest thing.
Yes.
They had an
Really
orange,
cool
they had an
stuff, too.
orange one, a green one, and the black.
It has a micro SD card slot. Expand the storage.
Yes, we were talking about them. Yeah.
Bought a
So many
Sarah.
ports on it.
Yeah, surprising amount of I/O for something that small.
Yeah.
And it was cool. It was
Versatility.
staying very cool. They said they had it on all day,
Yeah.
and like touching it, and it's like, nope, it's really
To
nice.
me, what was
and
great,
Yeah.
what was crazy is like we went through it and we saw all these booths and we saw some of them that's like, it was just the cheap stuff you find like Ali, and they had this huge booth.
Yeah.
And then we get to them and they're off in a corner.
They're
it's
so
a little
low
thing,
key, yeah.
and they have some of the best tech that we saw there.
Yeah. So many booths are like a step behind. You know what I mean? Like they're just trying to catch up or whatever. They were a step ahead.
Yeah.
And that's
They really were. They really were. Yeah. I mean, like just seeing that 7040U in a space like that, staying that cool with all those options and the price point, I'm like, this is really something. Yeah.
Also, they were super nice. Like,
Yeah, that's what I was saying. The CEO was present.
she knew everything. Like,
Yeah.
all of it. Like, was just great. To
They were giving me and Aish candy, and we were like, we don't need any more.
Some of the booths from that side of the convention were nice. They were the smaller booths, but there were some of the best.
Yeah,
You're
they
saying.
were.
I mean,
Really were.
Rocket. So your favorite actually was the booth itself.
Yeah, right over there in that area was the 3E electronics
Yeah.
booth. It was like, I don't know, it was whimsical. I guess,
was,
right?
yeah.
And it was one of those
Yeah.
like random little controllers, random little cases, things for the Wii.
Tons of
like just crazy accessories. You're like, what in the heck is going on?
We almost
And then
didn't even stop there.
Yeah.
Right.
We almost walked around.
Yeah, I think we stopped because we saw the AR glasses.
Yeah.
Which surprisingly they were honestly some of the
I
best.
feel like those glasses were better than some of the ones that had giants' faces on the floor.
Yeah, I think I saw a controller and I was like, wait, did you see this? And I went over there because they had a bunch of like random Nintendo controllers, some
random
bags,
stuff. Yep.
Some cool looking Joy-Cons and all that, and the glasses there. And I was like, wait, what's the glasses? And they didn't look as quality as like the XR, but when I put them on, I think I turned on to you and I was like, I like these better than.
Yeah, I actually hooked up my ARC-4 and we were just testing out Sly Cooper for fun.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, this
They had it on a
looks
Steam Deck. They had it plugged into a Steam Deck.
That's what they had originally. Yep.
It was no frills, you know. It was a very basic no frills AR glasses, but it just worked.
Right.
You know,
That's what I
plugged
liked about it.
You
Yeah.
plugged it into a Retroid Pocket 4 Pro, and it just worked. Yeah, just
It was like boom, it's right there on my face.
It was it was lightweight. It was the most comfortable. I honestly liked it above the Asus offering and XReal.
You can adjust the focus on it, so
it was just simple to use. That's a big
That's
thing.
right there.
So the interesting thing about that booth is they were not retailers, right?
Yeah,
they were
no,
just
no.
a factory.
Yeah,
Right?
right.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, they all sorts of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Including glasses.
We have to buy 500 of them to get one of these, and it's almost worth it. But
But we're kind of burying the lead here because what they're known for, or I guess what people would know them for, is the Legion Go.
they built the Legion Go. parts.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're actually manufactured for the Legion.
How do we find? We just randomly come upon the
Randomly.
booth that
Yeah.
Like, oh, we make the Legion Go, and they're like, oh yeah,
Not
we
just that, but they just casually are like,
Yeah.
we already have the prototypes for the Legion Go 2 and the 3, and then the other guy walks up, he's like, no.
no.
I don't know what he said because I'm assuming it was Chinese, but he was like, no. Stop.
The controller they had that Russ and I were looking at was really cool because you could take off the faceplates and swap them.
Yeah.
But the buttons and everything felt really well.
It was
really
a
cool.
solid controller, and I asked them what's the price on it, and they're like, oh, $15, $16. You know, it depends on how many you buy. I'm like, oh wait, you're not retail.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they're a
three.
wholesaler, I guess. So then,
Yeah.
and obviously a factory too. So they're producing this.
So if you guys want RH brand controllers, let us know.
No, we'll do a Kickstarter. We gotta buy 500.
Or cases.
Or cases,
We don't
yeah.
talk about cases.
We're talking about
It had a
cases.
cool Steam Deck case that had a slot in the bottom for like a controller, AC adapter, all that, but it was still fairly
That's cool.
small for what it could be.
Stubbs
for
and
holding
I
a deck and-
immediately went into how can we shield this, and we're like, let's make an RH case.
We're thinking about merch, like better merch ideas. Like we talk about these handhelds, but like, what if we did some sort of branded thing? And those are the type of booths that you talk to, right?
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
Yeah.
it was
You know what handheld doesn't need a case? The flip.
clamshell. I didn't see any clamshells.
Clamshells are great. There's definitely,
Robin, I get it.
there's definitely something to love about clamshells for
What
sure.
was cool about that booth though is like we went in there and we're like, what do you guys do? You make cases, like one cases, and they're like everything.
It was just so every time we talked to him a lot more, it was like, oh, this. Yeah, they were. You know, we just kept discovering.
And like
things.
Aish took out like his XX8 and was like, "Did you make this case?" And they were like, "I don't think so." Maybe not.
He was measuring which handheld was he measuring?
So I handed him the Neo Mini. He's like, okay.
That was a different.
Oh yeah. So they were checking out the XXH.
Yeah.
And trying that one out.
And they said something Chinese, Ambernick, Chinese. We're at the right place.
So he like literally was measuring it down to like the millimeter thing. Like he was like, we'll get it exactly right.
And there was another booth too. The other case manufacturer. We did it for the Mio Mini Plus, and I was like, man, these guys are just ready. To help out, and it's like,
And they gave us like something for like a golf rangefinder. They're like, "Here, just take this." And Aish was like, "I'm gonna put my camera on it."
Yeah, and it was perfect. It's my camera, my mic, all of that. It was great.
Nice.
I learned that you can't make eye contact when you're walking down those aisles, though, because every booth will want to
You
get
can
your
make eye contact, but it can't be friendly eye contact.
right. Yeah, Zoo was teaching. He's like just
I was like, if someone starts to look, you just go like this.
yeah. I mean, so I was like, okay.
It's like
Break it, and then
that's
like,
that's my
Here I
dad's
am.
there. That's
I'm
the
walking,
standard
I'm smiling. I was like, that's cool, that's cool. And I got pulled into every booth across.
Not like haha, I got pulled in. Someone was like, "You come into my
Yeah, they pulled me.
Yeah, that's how you got stuck.
And it was
the record player.
The record player was the craziest, and I kept trying to get out. I kept trying to get out of the conversation. I'm like,
does it play retro?
I'm like, does it play retro? I was like, we're here for gaming.
Game Boys.
He grabbed one. He grabbed a full-size record player on the ground.
With
He's like,
a
is his
table.
hand handleable? He looked at her, and she's like, flustered, and then he walked
And
out.
she kept going her spiel. It got worse and worse and worse. And finally, I was like, "Do you have any Creed records we can put on this?" And
They brought over like a different
Zoo.
person to take pictures of you with her.
Yeah, and
I
then
was probably like the first person to stop in there. That's
yeah, like
He didn't stop in there. He was dragged in. He was in there.
That's true.
you like I got the key to the city.
It's part of the experience of the expo.
It was cool. Like,
Yeah, sure.
Some of these booths are going to be like that
fun.
because they're kind of off to the side. It's a bunch of them together, and they're not in the big main floor.
No,
Nobody's really going in there looking.
They got to do it.
Right,
It's
right.
not
It's
they,
foot traffic.
you know, they got to try
They
something.
put them all into like that one Westgate.
They did.
You all go
That was
there.
a fun hall because of that.
It was great, yeah.
But I mean, you never know.
You learn so much. That's where we've learned people that make the Go.
Yeah,
They were
They just for you.
keyboard there's like a Hull stick manufacturer there. There was like
Oh,
you realize
yeah,
there
right.
were PCBs, every part of a handheld.
PCBs.
And Aish got excited because you were
Yeah.
talking about like we could maybe mess
We
with
can make
something.
like a little
together.
Pico 8 handheld. I think that'd be cool, like a little Game Boy. Something like
RH
that.
Legend.
It's just
RH Legend,
Yeah.
it was just an idea. There's no plans for a handheld right now.
no.
So no, I was like, oh, they'd be really
you're-
cool. Like, if you wanted to
Yeah,
make like a little Game Boy handheld Pico 8 thing, like this is where you would go. You can meet all the
They have a lot of
manufacturers there,
interesting stuff.
and you can definitely do it because there was all PCBs, little screens of all different sizes.
Right.
They had the Hall stick manufacturers there. Everything was there.
That'd be the place.
Everything.
To do it, yeah.
Yeah.
So if anybody wants to do that, just go to CES next year.
Russ and I found a random place that had the smallest SSD enclosure. It was like a 2230,
Oh, yeah.
and it was like a keychain thing. But they had the USB-C connector was plugged into each other, and you could use it as like a just to hold it.
Yeah.
But you plug it, and then you can plug it into something.
And you know, for a lot of us, we upgrade our like Steam Deck storage.
Yeah.
Now we've got a spare 2230 and nothing to do with
Right,
it.
you
Right.
got a use case for it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, my favorite thing from that 3E booth, which thanks Rocket for bringing that one up, is just again those AR glasses. Just, I really want those. Maybe we should. Aish, I don't know.
We was probably talking into a couple samples. Like, hey, would you mind sending us a few so we can see them? Like,
Did they look like the Vitchers? They had the diopter.
They were more like the Vitchers.
So I wonder if they make them for them because to their factory.
I mean,
I don't.
Yeah,
maybe.
possibly.
There's no way that these companies in-house are creating all
Right.
these.
No.
Yeah, yeah.
No. This tech is this is cutting edge tech.
It looks like they were using similar molds. The materials were completely different though.
Right.
Yeah, so you could tell. You could tell
they-
it wasn't like the actual build quality wasn't the same,
Yeah.
but the actual user experience was pretty good.
Yeah.
Like
I bet you it's probably the
yeah,
same.
the like Xreal has the tint adjustment and all of that. You can feel it as like, okay, this feels
Well, it's
premium.
comparable to, I mean, Joey, so your favorite this year was the Xreal, right?
Yes.
Well, yeah, after the Claw, the Xreal Air 2 Ultras, I think. So Russ and I went to a private appointment with them, and we got to see the new spatial feature that they have.
Oh,
so,
right.
So you put the glasses on.
In it somewhere?
Yeah, you could use your thumbs, and so you put the glasses on, and then the whole screen's in front of you, and you can see like the normal screen. But then if you look down, and you have these like little, I don't know what they're called, but little
icon
paper,
things, yeah.
Yeah.
and you can pinch and change and do all that. But those glasses were actually really comfortable.
So they're
Surprised.
full on going after the Apple Air, like their head things or whatever,
Yeah.
but at a fraction.
Right.
Of the price.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
These were
So-
$699.
Yeah, so it's one of those. It's kind of neat. You could sit at the table. You're looking at things up, but because the field of view and the sensors are so wide, you can keep your hands here and just pinch, and it still works. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? You don't have to like pinch the thing. You just pinch
Right.
down below, and so that's very similar to the Apple kind of glasses. And so that was really interesting. The price point, I don't know if we're allowed to say it, but it is.
They have it on online.
Okay,
So, yeah,
so it's
$699.
yeah, $699. So it's a big jump.
So you were able to like hit the screen, right? And then you were moving your head around.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You can do all that's there.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's cool.
and
That's an improvement over the previous
Workstation
ones.
or entertainment, like they had different.
This
like,
was sixth off on this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of that halfway point almost to full VR mode.
Right.
At
I
that
cannot
point.
wait for that. That's what I'm really
It was
excited
yeah, it was very much that way. Like
Yeah, I
you
know.
see your
That's
hand.
very exciting though.
That was really cool to see.
That
It's like the, well, again, it's like the XR tech, I guess they call it.
Yeah.
Which, as far as VR goes this year, I was a little underwhelmed in general.
So it looks like the theme this year was AR, AI. Those are the
Right.
two big buzzwords this year.
AR, AI, Web
Yes,
3.
100%.
It makes sense because if you go VR, that's a commitment.
Right.
You're gonna sit down. You're gonna lose track of all your surroundings, and you're
Yeah.
gonna be locked into that.
Well, the Quest 3 is an amazing pass-through.
Yeah.
So you could be sitting there
Right.
with your screen and still
You can still see your
environment.
No,
Yes.
but what I mean is
It's-
like
it's-
you're
but it's not
wearing
zero
like
latency.
you're wearing like anime character size thing in your
Oh
phone.
no, I know. You know what I'm
That-
thinking too is
yeah.
that if you look at the Quest, for example, from the 1 to the 3, they're getting smaller, they're getting lighter, and really the next progression.
These two things are going to merge.
Yes, and that's what I'm waiting for. Once that
that's the
merges,
device.
that's it. That's like
And that's what the Ultra was missing. Because I asked the guy, I'm like, can you do VR, like PC VR? And he's like, what is that? And then so we had to talk to that. And he's like, no, the field of view isn't there. Yeah,
Right.
You know what I mean?
We're so close. Like we feel it. Like there's a convergence happening here.
So I think I was the only one that did VR there, right? Because I went to go to the PlayStation VR and I did the VR 2.
Oh yeah.
I played the Ghostbusters game, and this was
They threw me out of there, but well,
I had to touch their
it was the Last of Us statue. It was so cool. The zombie.
The guy that threw you out didn't actually work there.
Okay, well,
I haven't used VR since
Fanboy.
It's just he really was. Yeah, he was.
I haven't used VR since the Vive and the VR1, the PSVR 1. So it's been a while.
This is definitely improved for you, yeah.
The tracking was off on using the actual hands. And I don't know if it was maybe just a setup, but that was off. And it's a little like ticklish on your nose of having the actual VR. But the experience and all that was, I don't get motion sickness, so that was okay. Playing the game was cool, Ghostbusters and all that, but it's still, I'd still go for the glasses.
Yeah,
I would
yeah,
still go
yeah.
for the Xreals or all that over,
Interesting.
because it's the one you're going to actually more likely to carry with you, right?
Yeah,
It's more
yeah.
portable.
And also you think about it,
It's so bulky.
they're
Right.
glasses, so you can keep them on your bedside.
Right.
They don't take up a whole lot of room.
Yeah.
You know, you just pop them
It's
on. You
kind
know,
of like
leave
the
your hand to
camera.
the side.
The best camera or the best handheld you have is the one you have with you.
Yeah.
Right.
It's the same thing with these glasses. Like you're way more likely to carry those glasses with
Yes,
you than a
100%.
Quest or anything like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go on travel with a Quest.
Exactly. No.
I can make the X-Reels anytime.
Yeah, they're easy.
Yeah.
One plug.
I think with
There you go.
Xreal is they were great. The quality was awesome, and the second pair of glasses that I actually got to use was really cool because it was like the 3D ones.
Yeah.
The problem was the first ones we saw, the person couldn't get him to work, and then when they did get him to work,
Yeah, the
he
same
couldn't
problem.
adjust like the tint behind, so it was pretty see-through.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is kind of. So my first impression was very underwhelming.
Right.
And I get to the second one, and he's trying to figure out like he can't make it work, and in my head I'm thinking, you've been doing this all day, and you're still having issues with it. What's the average user going to be like?
Right.
And
And
they
then
definitely tell that booth bit off more than they could chew.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of people they hired didn't know what they were doing.
Exactly.
I got an email last night. It said, "Hey, sorry to hear that you didn't come to our booth at your scheduled time. Can you come tomorrow?" And I wrote back, I'm like, "I did come at my scheduled time. I met with this guy and I had this private tour." You know?
Oh, no.
Wow.
That's just a
I
show of how
just
much
skipped
they,
the tour.
you know.
I saw the bathtub full of like pastel balls in the toilet, and I was like,
So they know. They know.
They would not let me sit on the toilet
Yeah.
when I tested the glasses.
And I said,
and that's probably an ideal use.
Zoo tested the glasses. What did you think?
I was whelmed.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: when you're standing in line right to try the glasses, and they know their audience. The first one is a toilet, and then you have a chair, and then you have like a bicycle, like a Peloton bike.
Yeah.
And what was upsetting is the toilet's there.
Yeah.
Like you.
Why can't we
Why are you
test it out?
teasing us where we're gonna use
Okay,
them?
hold on, hold on.
Yeah.
I have the glasses and you have the glasses.
Yeah.
Have you ever once gone on the toilet with the glasses?
No.
No.
Yeah, I don't think so. I didn't know that was a use case.
Okay.
Obviously, the company.
Why did they have a toilet and just toilet?
I don't know. Yeah, I didn't understand their setup to display the booth there. Like, why was there a toilet in the back?
I had a car there too.
Well, that's
That's a
extremely
little,
dangerous.
that's a little bit scary.
Giggles.
That's a bit scary. I do not recommend driving with
I
these glasses.
tell you what though, on a plane,
No, play it perfect.
instead of
That
having
makes
you're like
sense.
trying to watch
But not in a
phone.
car.
Yeah.
No, the glasses themselves, like there's so many use cases,
Yeah.
but I don't know if toilet is one of them.
Going back to it, don't
like the car.
so
Little
many,
dangerous.
so many of those glasses
Yeah.
from so
We
many.
did. And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
This year, it was all about AR glasses and AI. Everybody had AI something. AI this, AI that.
But you know the thing is though, like in all fairness, like accessibility is a huge thing. Like
Yeah.
so like even PlayStation's accessibility,
Yes,
like
they have
a
that now.
controller without,
thing's
you know,
cool.
like
Yeah.
people were like accommodating for
Right.
things like that.
Yeah,
I thought
that's
that was pretty awesome.
interesting.
I actually saw the portal. They had a portal there.
Yeah,
it was on display. They had a portal.
Going back to accessibility though, I saw a couple of things just like in passing. Like there was like a L'Oreal booth. Like,
Really?
why? And then they had this thing, and it had like the gimbal technology. You would have like a high-end camera mount. People with Parkinson's or cerebral palsy, like you put your makeup on, and like the person's hands
Oh,
going
LT.
like this,
Oh.
and it's stabilized.
It's like a gimbal.
That's cool.
Yeah, like there's
That's actually
stuff like that. Yeah,
No, that's
I was like, I did not anticipate this.
So thanks everybody for sharing your favorite things. What about our favorite like swag?
I think everyone has the same.
Yes.
The ROG Ally.
That's a full pillow, but none of us want to open it.
Yeah, because it has to be.
I thought GameSir, I thought it was cool that we had these these rings to stop joystick grind. Joystick grind drives me crazy.
Which is cool.
Does it grind your gears?
Grinds my gears. So they have these for the G7s that kind of make it a softer pivot, which I thought it even fits as a pinky ring. Those are really, really
Those
neat.
weren't actually samples for swag. He kind
I think
of
he
just
just
worked his way into it.
Was it?
Yeah.
He doesn't
Yeah. He's like, yeah, I guess. And then you grab something else. He's like, what about this? And he's like, sure. Sure.
He was like walking away. Can I have this?
But I was
I kind of chopped in on that too. I got myself a little pack.
Got that too. We were talking about nub. I was so it was a romantic moment. Just the nubs.
He's trouble because he also tried to take a fake lobster and a fake fish out of a refrigerator.
From TCL.
And they got yelled at.
TCL fridges were stuffed with lobsters and fish.
And real
but
beer.
real
That's
eggs.
yeah. We
real
walked
beer,
away.
real eggs.
We walked away.
Yeah, we walked away. We're like,
we
no,
had
no,
to.
no.
Zoo and I did interview
We were
them.
really worried you were gonna get thrown out.
We interviewed them about the lobsters, which the crew there they were having fun with that. So that was
glasses there too. AR glasses.
they had cool
See, everybody, dark glasses.
Yeah.
That was the
Everything.
thing.
But
Everybody.
I agreed that this was kind of the start of the show. This is
Yeah.
going to be
I want to see what it's like when it's actually.
yeah, it's a pillow. We're keeping it packed for the airplane.
Pictures over the display
don't break
next week.
I won't pop it, so it'll fit.
It needs to fit.
We just walked away. Like we're like, no, we're not doing this.
Well, here's the thing, guys, is that a lot of the CES stuff is corporate, just nonsense.
Yeah.
And so
trying to make it a little bit lighthearted, you know.
Yeah.
Try to enjoy
Should we
it.
bring our
In between.
nonsense?
So we had a little fun. We had a little fun while I worked.
We actually had our own booth for about 5 minutes.
Oh right, there was an empty booth that no one had claimed. We figured finders keepers. Zoo and I patrolled the square, the 20 by 20 square, and would be like, someone walk through it, like, that's our booth. I was like, that's our booth.
It had a big
Power cable, yep.
dangling from the ceiling unattended.
It was ready to go.
15 minutes, kind of just patrolling the
I
square.
tried to engage people. I said, hello.
Well, we got our stickers out and our nubs out. We were like, hey, we were a booth. This is the Retro Handhelds booth.
People walk by and they laugh. They laugh.
Yeah, they're
With us.
with us. With us.
They left with
Keep telling yourself.
Well, lastly, guys, before we kind of wrap up here,
Yeah.
so I see all these handhelds on the table. Wondering what handhelds did everybody bring in the trip and why? Russ, so you got your
Yeah, this is a story. So Odin 2 I brought, which is also what I brought on vacation with me last month, and so I'm still trying to play through Sea of Stars. I had planned on bringing the Retroid Pocket 4, the Pro that I had just reviewed, but I broke it while I was working on the review. All my fault, but basically, when I record a video, I record like all the video parts, and then I do the voiceover later. And while I was recording the voiceover, that's when I describe things, and I wanted to describe the analog triggers. And I'm talking about them, so I like pick up the device as I'm recording my voice, and I'm like feeling it just to kind of make sure I'm accurate. And I just full on dropped it on the floor and broke one of my triggers. And so so I couldn't take that with me on the trip. And it's not a full break; it's just that it became like unhinged basically, and so I have to go and take it apart and put it back together.
Okay.
And I just didn't have time before my flight. And
Okay.
so I brought my Odin 2, and I've been loving it. So.
Yeah.
That white
sleek
is
color,
that white
that
is so nice.
just that white colorway.
Yeah, that's the funny thing is they sent me the white as a review unit.
Yeah.
I just fell in love with it. I actually kept it as my main color.
It looks
Because
The battery on this is just ridiculous. So I'm playing Sea of Stars in docked mode, so it's in 1080p on the standard mode, not even a performance mode. So I'm not turning a fan on, any of that kind of stuff. I've been playing it this whole time. The mode's been running this whole time. No battery loss. Like, it's just ridiculous. I can play a good 12 hours of Sea of Stars on this on one charge.
Some might say it was the best handheld to come out last year.
Some may.
you talking about the screen?
Yeah. That was my pick, but
So it's funny because
number 2.
I think you had your Steam Deck out and Russ was playing something on the Odin 2 and the screen's amazing on that, but then I'm like,
Yeah.
that looks really good.
This
too.
is
The Odin 2
1080p
screen's
docked mode.
amazing.
That can't do 1080p.
No, that screen holds up extremely well. Like,
I know. I think it looks really. It was weird seeing it at a different angle because I'm always looking at devices this way. So I saw you holding it. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, viewing angles are great. It's nice and saturated. It's a great screen.
I still love it so much.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I love the night mode on there too. Raven, what'd you bring?
So the only one I brought with me is the only one you need. Just get a Steam Deck.
OLED.
So as Joey said earlier, yeah, this is an OLED. I'm just playing a Game Boy game on this. This is gonna play every game ever. So that's all I brought. But then a mysterious and generous benefactor gave me a 35XX Plus. So I also played on that a bit while I was here. But yeah.
That's awesome.
That's my sales pitch for the Steam Deck. I'm sponsored. Please sponsor me.
I love the blue module. Is that a new shell?
Yeah,
Is that
this
a
is
sticker?
from Easy Skins.
Oh, it's a skin.
They're they're a British company. I had to wait for it to come from Great Britain.
Yeah, the same concept.
So nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a full body skin, so it's
It
on the
almost
back
didn't
as
look like
well.
a skin. Yeah,
So,
yeah, it's nice.
That's so nice.
yeah. I love
Rocco,
it.
what do you bring?
I brought a bunch of stuff to play Pokemon on. Playing through, I'm gonna do some, article stuff with some ROM hacks and whatnot. So, brought a macro that I made not too long ago that turned out really well, and a
Yeah, I've never played with the macro.
and the Easy Flash Omega with the shorter.
I need to get you to make me a macro.
Little panda one.
Anytime, man.
Yeah. I love the color scheme on that one too.
Yeah. And then I don't know. I think I have Ultra Moon going on this. I pretty much bring a 2DS all over the place.
Pokemon.
And then this just got the new Gamma update right before we headed here, so I figure I might as well throw that on here and mess with it while we're.
I was watching that, and the battery life on Gamma on the T618 devices are
60 days in standby.
Yeah.
This he's talking about is a full 5D.
5B.
Yeah. I love this. I love this 405V. By the way, the
What you got like on the
transparent.
45N?
The color.
Yeah.
I gotta get one.
Gamma's a game changer for these, for
Yeah,
sure. So,
I agree. 100%.
yeah.
Well, Aish, what about you?
So I brought my Odin 2,
Yeah.
which is somewhere over there. And I brought my Steam Deck because I was like, this is probably what I'm going to use the most. And at the time, I was playing one of the games of the month, Densetsu no Starfy, on this, and it turns out this is the only thing I ended up using.
35XH from Burnick. Yeah. We call it the Aish.
Yeah,
The
I made this handle. There's more on this coming, but it's
where is
probably...
your Miyu Mini Flip?
Yeah, come on, Aish.
Oh, well, we don't.
What are we doing?
And then as soon as I got here, Stubbs gave me this, and I forgot about everything else. So this is the 4 Pro.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
It's awesome. I'm diving headfirst into this one. So I think I'm going to be the first one to go back to his house. So I'm going to start working on this immediately. But yeah, that's what I was traveling on. And I just kind of confirmed the one thing that I've thought about is I have all these handhelds, like all these superpower handhelds. The little pocketable ones are still, they have their place.
What you have, what you have with you.
They are. It fits anywhere. It's easy to use, and you have a massive collection of Game Boy Advance games that you can just play on here. So things are great.
Well, I mainly just brought my Miyu Mini Plus. I just recently modded this, and I'm really proud of this. This one's from Go Game Geek, and they have this fun sticker on. And I've just been playing this one part of Super Mario Brothers 3 the whole time. If anyone out there knows how to beat this level towards the end of the game, what does red pipe do? Because Russ and I were trying to figure out we couldn't do it. Aish was doing his best.
Yeah, I can't
None of us
remember
can
what it
beat this part. If you know,
I've beaten them.
Yeah.
Me too.
I mean, I should have considered raising.
Multiple times.
I can't remember.
My time's up. I also brought the XXH to try out some of the new firmwares, but I didn't have time, so I'll do that when I got home. And I brought the RP4 for you.
Are
And
the
my
new firmware is MOS?
Surface Book.
Is new OS out on that yet?
There's support for it, but the sticks don't work yet.
Yeah, initial build. And MiniUI, which is exciting.
Yeah.
So my time is up. Joey, what'd you bring?
Mine was difficult. So I initially planned to do the Lenovo Legion Go and the Miyu Mini Plus. And I ended up here with my Steam Deck OLED and my Retro Pocket Flip.
You've been playing those religiously this whole trip.
Well, okay, so I've beaten Metal Slug 1 and 2. I'm
Nice.
working on number 3.
He was just jealous.
And then, okay, well, we have to talk about that.
Yeah,
because
Metal
we're-
Slug.
Metal Slug.
We were at the barcade, and
Yeah.
Russ and Aish beat Metal Slug 1 and 2.
Yeah.
While there.
While there.
While Zoom and I were saying,
Arcade Pandora's box thing that, but like I would for every 5 inputs to shoot, I would get maybe 1 or 2.
Yeah.
It wasn't working.
So the Pandora's boxes don't hold up too well.
And he still got double the points I did.
yeah.
That's my game right up. So we Metal Slug, and then we beat Metal Slug X.
I had more fun playing NBA Jam with you guys personally.
That was fun.
That was a fun
That was
round.
a good ranking.
You had that John Stockton glitch.
Yeah. No, that was me.
Was you? No,
Yeah.
no matter.
Just get in the corner,
Russ is
yeah.
underneath the other basket and
Yeah,
hits
corner.
shoot 3-pointer from me. He missed.
That's why I
That's
get Steph Curry.
We still lost though.
Yeah, we did lose.
We did our best.
Well, it's
We
because
did.
you were on my team.
So then Joey got hooked on Metal Slug.
Yes.
His stuff.
So roundabout way of saying that's how I got hooked on Metal Slug on the Flip. And my Steam Deck I loaded with about 60 games for the plane, and I fell asleep on the plane. So.
It's the one you have. It's the one you have with retro.
Aren't you worried about getting incepted?
Incepted?
Yeah, don't fall asleep on a plane.
Well, I mean,
And that's what I brought.
Raven, would you have played your 3.5XX Plus if you had that with you initially on the plane, or you still would have gone to the Steam Deck?
I might have still gone to the Steam Deck. I don't know.
He's gonna do this. It's okay.
Well, I always put like, what's the smallest device? It's always.
I didn't have someone sitting next to me, so I had plenty of room to stretch out.
Oh, okay.
But yeah,
if
I had had less space, probably. Maybe.
Yeah, go with vertical or something.
I guess my Retroid Pocket 4, I'm the only one who didn't get one yet, arrived on Monday.
DHL.
So I have the black one waiting at home, and I'll work on that video. But
So unfortunately, we're not going to be trading anything.
no, we're not going to be trading any colors. Thanks, DHL.
Are we gonna get,
Thanks, DHL.
but are we gonna get a Joey guide at least to set it up, or
Oh, we're going to get everything.
everything? Oh,
I didn't
Full
get
Joey experience.
I didn't get one, but I did threaten on my live tweeters.
you better.
Chris, if you're out there, you got to send me one, or else Aish. I don't
Check out Zoo's Twitter. It's he was live tweeting the whole time. But Rob, what did you bring here? You got
So it's actually two devices. I mean, obviously, I did my quick look with the RP4 Pro. And now I'm kind of taking it with me, kind of getting more into it, and kind of working on video with this. So the RP4 Pro came with me. Been trying to play games on it, but I seem to just pass out every night. I go 15 minutes,
I know.
I'm gone. I'm like,
We've been tired.
So, but yeah, I mean, this is just, I love this device so much right now. I mean, the fact that we could do this much with it, and it's so compact, and it's exactly everything I wanted to see Retroid do with the 3 Plus in terms of their next version. So this has been really fun to just play with. And then another video I'm working on, which is a Win Mini, and again, same idea. I just want to spend time with it.
I want that thing. So
I guess this is
pretty cool.
It's
this
so
is just
great.
unreal. Like just looking at
It
this
is.
thing.
this aluminum top, the plastic
It's
shell.
amazing.
Yeah,
The heat temps
unreal.
are better now on this version, right? And
Yes.
that-
So the bottom, the seashells they call it, is all plastic now. So they were trying to address all the heat issues and whatnot. So I do have what they consider the retail version.
GPD XT Mini Plus.
It's definitely
retail.
bigger than the Win 2, but it is a great
Lightweight.
successor to the.
And that's another thing too. They actually GPD released the BIOS, so now it's unlocked. It goes past 20 watts. So they I guess they feel confident enough that it can handle the temperatures. I haven't tested it out yet, so I don't
Make us some
know.
eggs tomorrow.
I like
Yeah.
I liked the
Yeah, has textures on the side.
I like the textured sides. The only thing I didn't love in this, Rob, is just the keyboard.
So like the keyboard, I'll show you. Like the keyboard really is just it's really
It's thumb-
it's a thumb typing.
thumb
Like
typer.
look at it this way. I was telling Joey like if you have an Ally for example and you bring the on-screen keyboard, well here you always have a physical keyboard. And some people just like that tactile feeling of having something physical there. And for Windows, you know how it is. You always need a keyboard. But
Yeah.
I like the
great screen. They packed a 7-inch screen to this thing.
I like the face buttons inset a bit.
Yeah.
The sticks.
Yeah, so it's very much a typical GPD style that they have. They mimic the Vita style. It's not quite like a Vita D-pad, but it's similar. The sticks are small. They're a little bit inset too much for me, but it gets a job done. I mean, obviously it has to be able to close, but this is just unreal. This is a Windows 7040U clamshell.
For travel, that's all you need.
For travel.
So I put it in my sling, and it looks so tiny in my sling. And my sling is not big; it's like a small sling. And I put this thing in there, and I'm like, where is it? And it's like it just falls in the bag. But yeah, this has been fun to kind of mess around with, and I'm working on a video with this one, and then probably more videos with this guy too.
Yes, look forward to that. From the Retro Tech Dad. Check him out. Tech Dad. Zoo, lastly, what do you bring?
I brought my Pocket Air because I
Yes.
had started a bunch of Game of the Months on it already.
Which one?
And I just couldn't be about all of them.
All you do.
I couldn't be bothered to.
Cave Noir.
Cave Nowhere. I finished that.
Nowhere.
Cave Nowhere. That's how you say it.
That's
And then Starfy, and then what was the other one?
Metarod.
Metarod, yeah. So I was playing them all on there. I brought a whole bunch of stuff, but I ended up just using this.
yeah. Well, Pocket Air is
So
very.
you're opting to use the
and it's
Geo stand.
All the defaults.
and it fits my nubs actually. There's red ones for you.
How about that?
Oh, it
$4
matches
on Etsy.
with that.
Yes, that matched very nice.
I like it. Matches your interesting plaid shirt. It's very fresh.
You can get this at Macy's.
Macy's?
If you're interested.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
You're a walking around shirt.
Walking fancy. We were at the barcade the other night, which, by the way, kudos to you for saving that marriage too.
We did a lot of stuff. We're probably not going to share. We didn't video a lot of the stuff we did, but we saved some lives, changed some lives.
legal reasons.
No, it was cool. It's always cool people, nerd culture at the barcade.
And Bill was there.
And we had Bill and our
RPG
patrons
Bill.
there. That was so much fun. Again, Bill, thanks for hosting us so much this week.
Our meetup.
Joey and I got to conquer easy mode on Dance Dance Revolution.
That's true.
So we demolished. I suck at that game. Me too.
Sorry, I missed that.
Well, that's all you needed.
I mean, I brought this. I brought the 1X Player 2. I brought
You brought
both.
the 1X player.
I brought both of the XX pluses, the HM
Yeah.
plus.
He brought
and
separate suitcases just for his
for swag, right?
and the new Mini that I just reviewed, and I ended up I just used this.
Fair. No.
Brought everything.
No.
Well, everything else I brought was relatively compact.
Well, guys, so I just had a lot of fun going
Yeah.
to CES with
It
everybody
was
here.
a blast. This is definitely going to be a memorable experience for me. Really, just meeting everybody in
Yep.
person, seeing them in 3D form. was
3D
kind of a-
form, like, whoa, they're
First time I saw Stubbs, I was like, what's happening here? Why do you have more sides to your body?
Three-dimensional. I know. Zoo. First thing he did, we met in the airport for the first time, and he just kind of pushed me over like this. He's like, "Oh, it's real. This is crazy."
No, it was just cool. I mean, like being able to meet Russ in person. I mean, watching his YouTube videos for years now, and I mean Joey as well. Like we talk all the time, so it's cool to be able to see everybody in person. You know, Aish as well.
Rocket and Raven, first time meeting you
We've
guys in
all
person.
definitely been adult enough not to fangirl around.
Yeah, we kept that too.
Hey, it was the toughest.
I might have had a little giggle when he handed me a sticker. So
Well, it was honestly the toughest for me because Russ and I ended up sleeping arrangement wise sharing a thing. California king bed, opposite sides. We had a pillow divider, but I wanted to ask him. I was scraping box art in Neo Mini Plus like 2 a.m, and I wanted to ask you like, you know, how do I get the scraper? And I was like, no, leave him alone.
Yeah.
And you're reading Michael Crichton. I was like, leave him alone. We had Aish sleeping in the closet.
That's the best part is Aish was in the closet.
We had an Airbnb here, and we all I just make do. Raven's on the couch, and everything.
Yeah.
Some of you got your own room. You got your own
I
room.
got the dollhouse.
And Joey got a child's
I call that
room.
the princess room. You got
Princess room.
I do think it's really cool. Like there was maybe like 45 seconds of awkwardness, and then like
Yeah.
real life synced with the internet.
With the internet.
Okay, this is what Discord.
And then it was just like, oh, these are my
Isn't that
dudes.
such a wild
Yeah.
thing? Is that
It was pretty weird for us.
yeah. That's good.
Oh, these are total strangers. Oh no, I know these guys super well.
You have a second reality overlay, like
The buffers, the shaders buffer for a second, and then you're running 60 FPS the whole time.
Although, despite the fact that we are the furthest we can possibly be from each other, me and Zoo get along fairly well.
How about
He tolerates me. I like him. He's cool, but he
Yeah, Raven's great.
Yeah,
well, guys, this has been a lot of fun.
it has been.
This is going to be the last, of course, episode for our podcast for season 3. So we're going to take a 3-week break, and we'll be back with everybody for a season 4. It's going to be a mixture of this offline type episodes, and then we're going to do still some live streams where we just focus on the news. So we're going to break it up a bit with our guest schedules. A lot of fun changes, new stuff happening for Retro Handhelds. For 2024, I mean, new stuff happening for all of us, right? It's going to be a wild year.
Yeah.
The technology we've seen at CES this year is
It's
mind-blowing,
exciting. I think it's very exciting.
and it's going to be a wild ride for handhelds this year, I think.
Yeah.
The claw.
The claws, we'll see.
And maybe not even just handhelds. Maybe Katie will send us a poncho.
From Lenovo.
An in-depth
the
review.
poncho.
Interesting.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Patrons, thank you all so much for subscribing and watching our content. Do like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you on the next one. This has been Stubbs for Retro Handhelds, Retro Game Core, Joey's Retro Handhelds, Rob the Retro Tech Dad,
Hi guys.
saying, take care of your handhelds, everybody,
Take care, everybody.
Yeah.
Bye.
and take care of each other.
Bye.
Bye.
That was fun. Jesus.
I was watching the time.